What's up everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we finally have some good news about the Spider-Man deal, and not all hope is lost for the character returning to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There is in fact a massive deal in the works with Apple and Sony that could result in Spider-Man returning to the MCU indefinitely. Again, as we well know, a few months ago Spider-Man was taken back by Sony Pictures after Marvel wanted to renegotiate with Sony and get more than their 5% profit from Spider-Man Far From Home, after Far From Home grossed over $1 billion. And it was because of this that Marvel wanted a larger cut for future projects revolving around Spider-Man, as they believed their contributions were worth far more than simply 5% of the profits. Ultimately, in the end though, despite Sony offering Marvel a 30% deal, they ultimately walked away, and the rights fully reverted back to Sony. Sony would even come out a few days later and say that the door was closed on all Spider-Man talks at Marvel Studios, and that they believed that Kevin Feige was simply too busy, but also that they believed that they could replicate the success of Kevin Feige with their own Spider-Verse universe and interconnected stories with Venom, Morbius, and more. Of course though, movies and Spider-Man is only just a portion of what Sony does, as they also do a whole lot more, from producing television shows and other products, which makes them a hugely profitable company. A company that's actually one of the last competitors of Apple. And it's because of this that Apple has actually been entertaining the thought of purchasing Sony. But what would this mean for the Spider-Man character and all of Marvel? What's even better for Marvel in the MCU is if Apple actually goes through and does purchase Sony, it's written into the contract that if Sony sells, the Spider-Man rights immediately go back to Marvel. This meaning that Marvel wouldn't have to give up or pay a dime for the rights to Spider-Man, and he could freely move about the MCU, with Marvel getting all of the rights back to that character. Unfortunately, the Sony CEO has said reportedly many times that he is not willing to sell the company. However, if there were any company in the world capable of buying out Sony without a doubt, besides Disney of course, it would be Apple. Unfortunately though, a little bit of bad news does follow, as if a deal like this does go through, it would likely take some time, potentially maybe even a year or longer, and it would definitely take a lot of time to sort things out with the two studios. Just look at Disney recently purchasing Fox, and how long that took. Nonetheless though, not all hope is lost for Spider-Man returning to the MCU, as again, if Apple does in fact purchase Sony, the rights would immediately go back to Marvel and Disney, and they could use the character without any restraints, getting all of the profit from the character. But what are your guys' thoughts on this? And do you guys think it's a long shot for Apple to eventually purchase Sony and for the rights of Spider-Man to fully go back to Marvel? And do you guys think this is the last hope, or is it more likely for the two studios to reach an agreement? Again, at 260k, we'll be giving away 4 digital copies of Endgame, but I'll save the rules for another video. As always, my friends, thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button to assemble and join our team, and have a great day.